Hey YouTube, alright, I'm going to be replacing this left intake manifold. I've got a problem with these swirl flaps. Of course they're all worn out, typical thing on these Audis, and I'm going to take you through how to do this. I found that there are a few YouTube clips on this, but some of them don't give you enough tips on what to do in the sequence, so I'm going to try my best to fill you in on those details. Okay, to cool the engine, it's this bank here. The other bank on this side. Seems to be okay. Right, these are the tools that we're going to use. I use the long nose pliers to get down to some of the bolts that I can't get to. There's a 15 that we're going to use for this, just to remove that. It's for the cover, the engine cover. 17, 19 for the diesel pipes. We've got a 5 Allen key bit here, a 30 Torx bit. I use the Allen key shape here because there's some places where I can't get to. And then of course a scribe that I use to move little things around or try to hook things or whatever. This is a very handy tool for working on this job. First thing, I've undone these 3 nuts, these Torx screws. Next thing, we need to remove the pipes. It's this pipe, and the second one is this one running all the way across to over there. Okay, next step here is to remove the intake manifold here, or the intake pipe rather, with all these screws. So I'll do that. I've removed the diesel pipes now. Okay, well I've removed the bolts. Just be careful, this one and this one is slightly longer, those two on the left. But it's clear that this manifold won't remove, so I'm going to have to loosen up this whole intake over there. I've loosened up the intake here. This is the reason why these wouldn't come out. There's some splines that goes into there. Just be careful of the gasket that comes out there. Just stow it away safely. Okay, the manifold removes very easily. It just slides out. Right, the next thing I'm going to be doing is removing the actuator motor. Normally the guys remove this first, but it doesn't really matter. The point is it needs to come off before you remove the full intake manifold. So I've removed the actuator. I'm just going to put it on one side. I don't need to disconnect it. I'm interested in removing this manifold. So now we're going to go down to these Allen key bolts and remove all of those. Right, I've undone all these bolts, but now there's this to deal with. I need to quickly figure out what, because I can't remove it with that in place. So I'm just going to quickly figure out what the story is there. Okay, I figured it out. So you need to kind of wangle it out to the left and just pull it out underneath that bracket. Okay, I pulled the manifold out to the front, through the front part, and here is my problem. This, every time it goes down, it's got a massive play that pushes it outwards like that, and that is the issue. Alright, so here's the issue. Open up the swirl flap and pull it up and down, and it's completely worn. So I bought a brand new manifold. I actually reconditioned this unit about 80,000 kilometers ago. The first one ran for 150,000 Ks. So clearly the quality, you know, just wasn't that great. But now this one's completely gone. I've given this the intake a good wipe down, just get all the dirt away. Some dirt on the side, be careful it doesn't fall into the holes. You don't want that getting into your cylinder, so I've just cleaned it up a little bit. Okay, this manifold is ready to go. It's got the gaskets, it's got everything in. So I'm literally just going to install it back in, same way it came out, through the front, or rather through the back end of the car. It just needs a bit of a wiggle. It's not a big issue to get it loose, same way it came out, you just put it back in. Yeah, of course the putting back the procedure is just in reverse. Took a bit of wiggling to get it through this bracket, but through this end, just put it through in there. It comes past this bracket eventually, and it's in there, so I'm going to put the bolts back. Well, one thing that I just picked up now is be careful of this wire, that it doesn't get caught underneath. Mine just got caught underneath there now, and I had to take it out, so you would have clamped that wire right off. Just be careful of that. Right, manifold's in. 8 bolts. That one in the corner there, that one struggled to go in a little bit, so you need to just keep everything loose and first get that one to take before you settle the rest. Right, so what's next? We need to put back the actuator motor. Right, time to put the manifold back. The intake, you'll see that this tends to gunk up quite a lot. I mean, this one's bad, but it's also not that bad. I'm not going to bother cleaning this out now, but you know, sometimes the guys feel adamant. I've seen these things coked up something terrible in the past. Okay, this is very simple. It just slides in, just fits in there. And now I'm going to tighten up the intake here, intake throttle, fill up these bolts here, and then it's time to put back those diesel pipes. Right, here's something that I almost forgot. I couldn't figure out what on earth goes into that hole, but it's this funny knob thing here, and I'm going to swap it in. I actually think that that's where the covers clip on. Right, I've got the intake. I just need to tie up that one clamp over there, but all of these are back in. I actually found that one of my bolts was missing, so I had to get some bolt in there. Everything's nice and tight. One thing that I wanted to mention was just remember when you tighten these manifolds to use the crisscross method. First the inners crisscross, outers crisscross, and then just kind of like hand tighten them and systematically tighten them in that crisscross pattern until they completely tied down. And one thing you don't want to do is drop a bolt in here, because then it's gone. So be careful when you put those bolts in. Sometimes I use long nose pliers to get like that one in, you know. But yeah, be careful with that. If it drops in there, you're gonna cry. Okay, so the last part to go back on is the diesel pipes. So these guys come back on here. Something else also to remember is be careful with these pipes when you put everything back. I almost clamped this one down underneath there. You know, just be careful. Have a look properly where these pipes must be before you tie down anything. Diesel pipes are on. 19 spanner, these ones, those 3, and the 17 down here. Right, now to check if the actuator is actually working, and see if I can get that fault code erased. Right, I've got a whole bunch of other lights coming on, but this is where you're going to get 7 sorts of heart attacks, because it's going to take a while for this car to start. But the diesel's first got to work through. Right, that looks good. I'm going to just switch it off for a second. Right, that looks okay. So far the engine light hasn't come on. I'm going to just check the codes again. Alright, I'm going to just give it one more start. Yeah, that looks good. I'm not sure why the oil pressure light came on, or the oil pressure warning came on, but I've taken the car around the block for a drive and everything looks fine. No funny engine lights, all the warnings are gone. Managed to clear all my faults, and everything looks good. Right, I've managed to clear all the codes. I saw the P2011 code come on. That's this guy. I just reseated that clip at the bottom, and that's gone away, because I felt the play on that one. The play really isn't that bad. So it's just a question of time. Then I'm definitely have to replace that one as well. But yeah, so this is the A6 Audi 2007 model 3-liter diesel.